Hello everyone, this is an explainer video on French Revolution Part 3 brought to you by Navodaya Foundation, Mysuru. In the last video, we have seen how France from being a monarchy becomes a constitutional monarchy, and in this we are going to see how it abolishes monarchy and becomes a republic. So, we have seen in the last video that how Louis XVI had accepted the constitution made by National Assembly. But simultaneously he was entering into many secret deals like one with Prussian king. And the developments that were happening in France were being observed by other European kingdoms. And such developments, which were democratic in nature, was not good for those kingdoms too. And they were planning to send troops to France to nullify the democratic developments happening there since 1789. And they wanted to establish control over France. But before these plans could fructify, National Assembly of France declared a war against Prussia and Austria. And in this, many common people participated who saw that this was not just against the kingdoms of Prussia and Austria, but it was against aristocracy, feudalism, and monarchy. This increased the patriotic feeling among the people of France. This had led to a continuous state of war, due to which economic conditions of France had worsened, and people began realizing that the recently formed constitution only favored the rich, which resulted in political consolidation for fight for their rights among the members of lower class, and political clubs were formed, important among them being the Jacobin Clubs. Now let us see who these Jacobins were. The Jacobins belonged to a less prosperous section of society like printers, cobblers, and so on. And this club was led by a person named Macmillan Robospierre. The Jacobins planned a violent insurrection against the authorities, against prevailing increased prices and diminishing supplies. And among the initial violent activities was the attack on Palace of Tuileries, and they took king as a hostage. After the king was taken as a hostage, new elections were held, and many political and electoral changes were brought. And the earlier system of voting, where holders of the property or payers of substantial amount of taxes were only giving voting rights, but in the new system of voting, all men about 21 years of age, irrespective of their property holding, could vote. And on 21st September 1792, France was declared as a republic. And King Louis XVI, who was secretly holding negotiation with Prussia, was charged with treason and was beheaded via guillotine on January 21st of 1793. Following these events, we see a period which is famously termed as Reign of Terror. This is a period in which the leader of Jacobins, Macmillan Robospierre, had imposed a strict measures and were particularly directed against aristocrats, ex-nobles, and richer sections of the society. And along with them, many others who did not conform with Jacobins' values were also targeted by the strict measures. And for this purpose, revolutionary courts were also established for their trials, and they were punished by harsh measures such as beheading via guillotine. This period of strict controls and harsh punishment, which terrorized people, is termed as Reign of Terror. Along with this, the Robespierre regime also introduced many legislative changes on the front of minimum wages, rationing of goods, and confiscation of property, which were socialist in nature. But these harsh measures which were introduced earned Robespierre many enemies within the Jacobins, and even he was guillotined. With this, the constitutional monarchy and the republican system both collapsed, and a new system came into place which is called as the directory system, which ruled France for a short period of time, which was basically created to prevent concentration of power in the hands of a single individual like it had happened in case of Robespierre. But within this system too, political clashes began happening between the directors, which created political instability. And this instability was taken advantage by military leaders and dictators like Nepolean Bonaparte. But despite coming up of multiple governments, the basic ideals of French Revolution, like that of liberty, equality and fraternity, were intact, and they inspired and motivated people from other parts of Europe too to fight for themselves. Thus, we saw French Revolution and the following events and the consequences of that event. Hope you have understood the concept very well. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.